In recent years, psychology discussions online have introduced a term called the dark empath. While it is not a formal clinical diagnosis, the idea has gained attention because it helps explain certain personality patterns that can be confusing in relationships. To understand what a dark empath is, it helps to compare it with a more widely known personality trait, narcissism. What is a narcissist? A narcissist is someone who exhibits high levels of narcissism, a personality trait characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a strong need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Narcissistic individuals often believe they are superior to others and may become defensive or hostile when their self-image is challenged. Common traits associated with narcissism include a constant need for praise and validation, difficulty accepting criticism, exploiting relationships for personal gain, limited empathy for other people's feelings, a focus on status, appearance, or success. In psychology, narcissism is often discussed as part of a group of personality traits known as the Dark Triad, which also includes Machiavellianism, manipulation, and strategic deception, and psychopathy, callousness, and impulsivity. What is a dark empath? A dark empath is a term used to describe someone who shows some of the darker personality traits from the Dark Triad, but still possesses a significant ability to understand other people's emotions. Unlike narcissists, dark empaths often have strong cognitive empathy, meaning they can accurately read how other people feel. However, instead of using this awareness purely for compassion, they may sometimes use it to influence, manipulate, or psychologically control others. The key characteristics of a dark empath may include strong, emotional awareness of others, social intelligence and charm, subtle manipulation or guilt-inducing behavior, use of sarcasm or psychological pressure, maintaining friendships and social connections while still exhibiting darker traits. Because they understand emotions well, dark empaths can appear caring, attentive, and relatable, sometimes making their manipulative tendencies harder to recognize. The core difference: empathy. The biggest difference between a dark empath and a narcissist is how empathy functions. Narcissists tend to have very low empathy, particularly emotional empathy. They struggle to genuinely feel concern for others and often prioritize their own needs above everything else. Dark empaths, on the other hand, do understand other people's emotions. They can sense when someone is hurt, anxious, or vulnerable. The difference is that they may use this knowledge strategically rather than compassionately. In other words, a narcissist may ignore your feelings, while a dark empath may understand them and potentially use them to their advantage. Social behavior differences. Another key distinction lies in social dynamics. Narcissists often struggle with long-term relationships because their self-centered behavior can eventually push people away. Their need for admiration and lack of emotional reciprocity can make relationships feel one-sided. Dark empaths are typically more socially skilled. They may maintain friendships, appear humorous or self-aware, and function well in group settings. This social intelligence can make them more subtle and complex in how they interact with others. Why the term dark empath exists. Researchers began exploring this concept after noticing that some people scored high on dark personality traits while still showing strong empathy skills. Rather than fitting the classic narcissistic or psychopathic profile, these individuals demonstrated a mix of emotional insight and manipulative tendencies. This combination can create a personality style that is both socially engaging and psychologically strategic. Final thoughts. While narcissists and dark empaths may share certain traits related to manipulation or self-interest, the major difference lies in empathy. Narcissists typically lack it, while dark empaths possess it, but may use it in morally ambiguous ways. Understanding these differences can help people better recognize relationship dynamics and personality patterns. However, it is important to remember that personality traits exist on a spectrum, and labels like dark empath are not formal psychological diagnoses, but rather ways to describe complex human behavior.